Welcome to my messy desk. Anyway, I found it funny that you got tripped up on the fact that I had an interest in lysergic acid. Did some research on that, and that's what tripped you up. Like you stopped right there. So the reason why is because I was being bombarded with opiate addiction spending, and it was just flooding the news channels. So, that was still a relevant topic, even though it's probably long gone for you. About, okay, which is more addictive, heroin or nicotine? All right, they rephrased the question. That wasn't asked. What was asked was, what is more addictive than nicotine? Well, it's not heroin. The truth is, both are equally addictive. Research has shown that nicotine is just as addictive as heroin. The progression of addiction is, I don't like the word addiction, it's stupid. The feel-good effect of nicotine to avoid withdrawal symptoms. I don't know why. I've tried smoking before, and all I did was it gave me an instant headache and a lot of pain in my lung. I guess it has a different effect on some people. I've never put random needles in my body, but that's part of the problem with this country. So, okay, so here's my question. You can't understand a legalization theory about drugs because people is dumb and they's just going to use stuff until they get in trouble and have to be put up in a cage, right? All right, well, so I like this. It breaks it down. We have legal drugs. And if you want to look at that, it's hard to see, but we spend $201 million on nicotine. And it is a legal drug. So it's a plant that grows out of the ground. But hey, wait a second. All of these are plants that grow out of the ground. And meth actually comes from it comes from the bark of a tree. It's called the ephedra tree. So here's something just that's interesting for me that I did some research on is the curry tree, because I really love those curry leaves. It just it adds a lot of flavor to your food, but it's just so hard to find, you know. Someone's going to yell, well, you should move to where it grows. No, what I want to know is why haven't native plants been utilized? And it goes all the way back to control. It goes to control, racism, segregation, class warfare, and wealth warfare. Basically, the totalitarian version of capitalism, which was enacted basically when we had the prohibition movement is when they got a taste of the money, basically. So this is what is spent yearly starting from 1998, and at the top here we have about $271 million, which also peaked in 2017 at 279 million. You just might as well round it up, say 278. And this year so far, they've only recorded 150 million. But as you can see, the spending has more than doubled in a 10-year period. Now, what I consider to be lobbying from pharmaceutical products is basically the bribing of judges. It's the bribing of legal law so that the cases will be ruled in their favor, or they preemptively make laws so that the pharmaceutical companies can declare something illegal. Basically, the stuff that grows out of the ground is what it's all aiming for. And my point is the pharmaceutical cabinet does grow out of the ground. It all does. And if it was really about addiction, like if they really cared about people, they would make nicotine illegal. But So why don't they do that? I mean, heroin and nicotine have the same addiction, but nicotine actually costs this country a hell of a lot more, money in spending. So let's look at the for drug enforcement, what their budget is. So 12 billion, yeah, billion, 13, 13. That was in 2008, from 2004 to 2008. In 2009, of course, they said we need to get tough, and so they almost doubled their budget, and it fluctuated a little bit up until about 2016, and they added another third to the budget. So we've gone up to about $30.6 billion per year. 30.6 billion per year. And if you want to compare that to what we're actually spending, we're spending 57 million, 17 million, 47 million, 89 million. And that's just the illegals. And the only reason that they're illegal is because the very simple fact that they interfere with capitalism. They interfere with incorporated business models. That is the only reason that the prisons exist. It's the only reason the sentencing exists. It's the only reason they go, yeehaw, we need tougher regulations. It's because of this. Because this is driving the industry. It's money being made off of human misery and suffering. And the damage that it does is off the charts. It's off this chart. You couldn't price it for what kind of damage it does to the country. So that's just kind of giving you a little bit of information about the hypocrisy. It's fucking hypocritical to say that we care about the people, yet this is the reason why we make things illegal, is because it makes people feel good, or they feel, a little too happy. They're smiling too much. So you have two equally addictive drugs. Both of them are fucking just as hard to get kick. And yet one is illegal and one isn't.